Ready?
Yeah, I think it's like hold on. Am I like glitching out or I sound okay?
Will you speak again?
Hold on. Can
It
you
looks good.
I'm trying is it okay? Am I like my reception is like coming from this camera, so I don't know if it's like getting messed up by something.
No, it looks good. Looks good. I can still
Oh,
hear you.
okay. Okay. Sounds good. I'm ready whenever. And sorry if
All right.
my connection sucks, but yeah.
Hey, oh, it's all good. We're good. All right, three, two, one. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Stats to Assets podcast. Man, I'm your host, Coach Ernie or Coach E. Williams. And today I have my first tech talk. I almost said TED talk, but it's first tech talk with Josh Madakor, an awesome guest. I can't wait to get into his story, and we're going to talk a lot about tech today. So, Josh, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for inviting me. Really appreciate it. And this is my first time being on a podcast, so thank you.
Yes, I get the honors, man. Let's go. First interview. Uh Josh, man, so first really quick question. What is your number one goal that you're working on or really like want to strive to hit this year?
So this year, I'm developing a course on how to get into cybersecurity. It's like super hands-on. So I hope that I can sell 2,000. I don't know if I call it copies, but I want to sell like 2,000 copies of that course by the end of the year, hopefully. So I'm kind of working on that right now.
Awesome. Yes, I can't wait for that to come out. So I'll be first in
Yeah.
line to get that course.
Oh, thank you.
So no problem. So let's get right into it. So for anybody that may not know who you are, will you give just a quick background of what you're doing right now, and then we'll later kind of get into your tech background.
Sure. So right now I have a YouTube channel talks about IT, cybersecurity, education, career, like how to get into tech. I started it in 2020 and it's kind of grown a bit over the last couple of years. I have maybe almost 90K subs now. It might be 90. I'm not sure. But
Yeah,
I focus a lot on trying to help people like get jobs and um, help them get like if they're interested in getting their degree, where in a way that doesn't cost a lot of money and it's like faster than usual.
yeah,
I just kind of help with that in general. So yeah.
awesome. And then what is your role now in
So
tech?
right now, I work at Microsoft. I'm a contractor, and my title is principal security analyst, but I don't know how reflective of that is of what I'm actually doing. I'm kind of
Hmm.
helping with the Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark. It's just a way to secure your resources in the cloud. So I kind of help support that a bit with like a lot of automation. So my job right now is like kind of mixed between like developer and cybersecurity analyst, I guess, something like this.
Awesome. So and now you're back in the States, if I'm correct.
Mhm.
Josh travels a lot. He's got a little bit of a nomad lifestyle that he's
Yeah.
able to tap into. So I can't wait to talk about that and share that to some of the young athletes that may be watching this, retired athletes, and just people in general that want to change, their lifestyle and flexibility in
Mm.
life. So that's exciting. But let's start off with take us back. Like, how did you get into tech and then why? And I think also why you stayed in tech so long. That's important too. I just want to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah. So the reason I got into tech in the first place, I've kind of always liked computers, but I haven't been able to do something really useful with them. Right. I was just like playing games
Hmm.
for all throughout my childhood. And then the reason I actually started working, I just got really tired of being poor. Like there's certain things that I wanted, like it starts off like really superficial. Like I really wanted like Subaru WRX for like the longest time, and I'm like, ain't no way I can get this working at Kmart or wherever I was working at the time. So I
Yeah.
just kind of made that conscious decision to like, okay, I'm gonna like buckle down and do something that gets money essentially. So
Hmm.
that's kind of how I got into it originally. And the reason why I stayed in it this whole time and kind of progressed my career, I could talk a lot about this. I'll try to make it short, but um, I'm like a, what's that word? Like a serial job hopper. And I really
Mm-hmm.
don't like reduction in autonomy. That means like I don't like being forced to stay somewhere like a certain spot for too long. And when
Yeah.
I'm working like those kind of like low barrier to entry jobs, I worked a lot when I was younger, like, like being a cashier or like whatever. You have to like sit there and like do the same thing, like, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, right? And I didn't really like doing
Mm-hmm.
that. And I would just like quit my jobs after like 6 months is like a long time for me. But I found out when I started working in IT that you have more autonomy and you don't get micromanaged as much. Like for sure, like there's stuff that you have to do, but you have like flexibility to like do it at home, or like you can take your time at work, or like no one's like watching you all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
IT is it's kind of more like knowledge work where your manager like most of the time they don't care what you're doing as long as you deliver like what they want you to deliver. So if it takes you like
Okay.
10 minutes to deliver something and then you play for the rest of like 7 hours of the day, the manager like doesn't care. So that's kind of why I stayed in IT for as long as I did. Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so take us through your
Yeah.
roles. Very excited to like what was your first uh tech role, and if you can bring us on up to speed, and we'll talk about those roles because I think it's really important that people get I guess introduced to different roles that they can look for as well.
Sure. I have a lot of rules. I'll try to like cut me off if I'm taking too long. I'll try to like summarize it well. But the first role I had is after I decided to stop being poor. I went to like a community college and I was studying like IT there essentially. And I was in the computer lab trying to work, and I noticed like people would come in and like help other people in the lab. And then I was like, what are they doing? I can do that job because it seems like pretty
Mm,
easy. They're like essentially a help desk. So I went to my college IT department. I was like, can I work here essentially? And they're like, we're not hiring now, but just keep applying, and then you'll get hired eventually probably. And that's kind of what happened. So my very very first IT job, I was making like $10.50 an hour. It was like 17 hours a week, but
mm,
I got to be exposed to the industry a lot, and there was smart people around me, and I got to play with the environment and get experience that way. So I kind of worked that like super low paying job for a couple of years while I was in college, and then
yeah.
I got hired. Yeah, I got like hired into that department as a. I think my title was like IT analyst. Titles in IT are like really weird, but it was essentially like a sysadmin after 2 years, and that role paid about 50K, and I stayed there for like I stayed there for like 7 years or something like this.
Mm.
It's just like a general IT operations admin, and I can go on, but I don't know if I talked like too much already.
No, it's good. I love details, so you're good. Go ahead and
Okay.
explain as deeply as you want to. Yeah.
Okay. So from that job, it was like a local community college. I worked there for like 7 years, right? And then I started getting kind of bored after a while. So my next job, it was actually like really similar role, but it was in Japan. So I applied for the job, and it was like on a military base in Japan, doing essentially the same thing that I was doing, but I had to take a pay cut to go out there. Um, that didn't
Mm,
last very long. It was like three months. The company was like not that good. I like being in Japan, but the company was like bad.
okay.
So I quit that job, and then I came back to the States, and then I found another job doing it was essentially cloud support engineering as a contractor. And that's where I kind of started getting exposed to Azure and cloud computing a little bit. So I worked that job for a pretty short period of time. Like I said, I'm kind of like a serial job hopper, probably like 3 months, and that job paid 60K. And I was like, I just like quit at that point, and I decided to study a little bit more and like up my skill a bit. And so I took like a month off, and then I got hired again for my next role. It was like a contract position again, but I was like a point of sale engineer. So REI, that big like sports store, right? They were doing like a
Mm-hmm.
point of sale migration where they like upgrade all their registers, right? So they were doing
Okay.
that. So I got hired to do that, and I had to write. I did do like a decent amount of PowerShell automation. It's like coding on top
Mm-hmm.
of my system administration that I kind of learned from my previous jobs. And so I worked that for a couple months. That one was like, was it $42 an hour? So about like 82K or something like this. And I worked that for a while. And then I quit that job probably after, it was like less than 6 months for sure. And then I got a new job in Hawaii as a lead endpoint administrator. So it was kind of like help desk, but like kind of next level. I was like the admin for all the desktop people. I worked that job for 6 months. That was about, I took another pay cut because Hawaii is like kind of low salary. And that's at that point, I was like, I want to start like making more money. Like I want to get into 100K. I want to like try to get into cybersecurity at that point. So again, I took some time to like really study a lot. I got a few other certifications like Security Plus and CISSP, and I studied security like really hard. And then I applied at the company I was working to like a senior senior security analyst position. And I ended up getting that one for 97K. And I worked there for the remainder of the year. And that's kind of how I broke into cybersecurity. And then I had like, a bunch of jobs after that subsequently, but it's like kind of long, but that's kind of how I got into cybersecurity.
Cool. And then let me see. I had a question. Cloud support in Japan. Well, I'll it might pop up again. So thank you for sharing that. Oh, what I wanted to know is what if you could explain really quick for everybody, like what does a system admin do or administrator do?
Yeah, so titles in IT are like really like tricky. So it
Yeah.
could mean something to someone else, but for me, sysadmin, what I basically did is we have servers essentially. So maybe, sorry, I'm trying to like explain this in a way that makes sense to everyone. So maybe we have like a file server or something in the back room that I worked at a college, right? So all the students have like files on their desktop, and then we have like a domain controller that's used for when the students like log in, they need to like put their name and password and get authenticated. So all of that kind of infrastructure, the system admin kind of manages that. So I was in charge of managing the infrastructure. And if we needed to like push out software to the students, we would come up with some automated way to like push out software to all the workstations and running like Windows updates on everything and just kind of managing the whole environment. That's kind of what a sysadmin does essentially.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And can you talk about the importance of increasing your skills? Because at one point I think you said after your Hawaii lead admin role, you just decided to get the CISSP and Security Plus, I believe, certification. Can you just talk about how important that is, maybe even in between when people change jobs or just to continue climbing the ladder financially, how important certifications, or skill sets in general are?
Yeah, sure. So again, I can talk a lot about this, but essentially in IT, it's our whole industry is not really regulated in the sense that with medicine, right? To be a doctor or to practice, surgery, you have to have gone through residency and like blah 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 and like all this stuff. It's like a legal requirement, right? Or to be a lawyer, you have to pass the bar, do all this stuff, legal requirement. But for IT, there's no like real legal requirement. I could have no credentials and I could just be like the chief information security officer for somewhere, right? This happens, right? So in terms of like certifications, or let me back up. So in order to get any kind of like any job in tech, right, it really only boils down to two things. Like you need to have some skills, and then you have to be able to convey those skills and essentially convince someone to hire you, right? So where certifications come into play, it's not like you're required to get certs to get a job. It's not like you get CISSP and then you're like, okay, one job, please. I have CISSP. It doesn't like work really like that. It like certifications like help. They help you like convey ability. They can help you get skills too, but they're one of the many things that help you like convey your ability to do any particular job, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it's really important. So if you think about it, you're like, okay, like I want to make 100K or whatever the case may be. you need to get 100K skills, and you have to convey those 100K skills. And then like the certifications I got, they were just like part of the package to help me convey those skills. Like the rest of it, you have to interview well. You have to have like your resume has to be squared away. All those things kind of help convey the skills, if that makes sense. And then getting the skills is like the really easy part. You can just, get tutorials or something. Everyone can like increase their skill. The hard part is like convincing people to hire you, right? If that makes sense. That's where certification are just one of the things that kind of helps with that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
And then I want to break. Well, your camera kind of gets pixelated, but it might be my internet. But now it's looking good.
Okay.
How's my camera on your end? Is it
Looks good.
clear?
It's like
Okay.
more clear than when we did ours, actually.
Okay. Perfect. Cool.
Sometimes gets bad, but yeah.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let's get to the next question. What's that? Okay. So I want to talk about. All right. So we're back. So I was watching one of your awesome videos on your YouTube channel, and you were saying how maybe one of your roles right now, uh, your roles right now as a cybersecurity, you do a lot more software development or coding. You
Yes.
right? Is that correct? Can you talk about that a little bit? Yeah, just talk about your experience with being in cybersecurity but having to do more coding, because maybe somebody that is thinking, hey, if I want a cybersecurity role, I won't have to know any of development, or like how does that fit in to your role?
Yeah. So there's like a really nice graphic that shows like all the different areas of cybersecurity. So there's a lot of branches of cyber. So you don't need to code for all of them. Like you don't see auditors, right? They don't bust out Python and start like writing Python, right? It just depends on what you're doing.
Hmm.
But for my particular role, the team I work on develops the Azure or Microsoft Security Benchmark, which is essentially it's like a list of things that you can implement to secure your cloud environment, essentially. And I used to be on that team too. I was like on the part where I'm like helping actually make the list that people implement. But my new role
Hmm.
is like doing automation to help them collect the data and kind of manage the platform that we use to collect the data. So for me, the coding that I do is essentially I guess just explain what the job is. So basically like Azure, you can imagine Azure as Microsoft's cloud platform, and just imagine there's like 200 services on there, and each one of them you can kind of secure it in a different way. And it's not like my small team can just like sit down and just maintain a list for 200 services, right? It's like too many.
Yeah.
So for me, we have this like it's essentially a web app platform that we maintain and manage, and there's like program managers for all the services in Azure, and essentially we introduce them to that platform. Then we say, okay, fill this essentially questionnaire out, and then they do, and then we take that questionnaire, and then we do some transformation of the data that they put in there, and then we essentially publish that to the public. So if somebody wants to secure like their Azure virtual machines, they'll go to our benchmark, and then they'll like look at the list and then figure out how to secure it. So my role, essentially, I just do a lot of the automation around taking the data that the program managers entered into that program to secure the services, and then transforming it into a way that makes sense for the public to consume. And then a little like bunch of random other little automation here and there in between. But my job is like now I'm not sitting around practicing cybersecurity, but I'm essentially like doing software engineering for this platform that helps with cybersecurity, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, definitely makes sense. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think you also mentioned that it's it's a good benefit to couple like software development or understanding of coding with any IT, I guess, role or job. Is
Yeah.
that true? First of all, and like, can you elaborate on that? Like, how does that make somebody's value increase?
So this is Josh's opinion. Don't take it as fact, but it's probably pretty close to fact. But coding, if you can code well and portray that, like if you have a portfolio, which I have a video that talks about how to do that. Anyway, if you're able to code and you're able to like portray that, it kind of serves as an indicator that you're capable of doing. I don't want to say anything, but most things in tech, because conceptually speaking, coding is like a little bit difficult. It's not too bad, but it's a little bit difficult. But if you can code and portray that, someone like even me, I'll look at that and be like, okay, this person has at least they can go out and learn other things on their own that are like way less difficult than coding, right? So that's one thing. And the other thing that's like really useful, if there's like two candidates, say you're interviewing somewhere and there's two candidates and you guys are almost the same, but this person has like a GitHub with projects on it and they can code. That's like gonna help this person a lot, like getting picked over the other person. Like it's not required that you code, but I recommend most people like get exposure to it and at least do a couple of little practice projects. And there's like a lot of free resources on the internet as well. So it's just like a really, really useful tool to have. And I will say it's like a salary amplifier as well. It helps you make more money, essentially, for sure.
Perfect. Just what we need to hear. So if you are an athlete, especially, you kind of understand when you want more playing time, when you want to get on the field of the court, you have to show more skills. And every year that you're in college, let's say, or professional athlete, you have to, add skills, get a wider range of skills, or get deeper into get more expertise in a skill set. So that kind of that we relate to that. I think that's very relatable. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What? Yeah. What? So we're thinking about college student athletes, college athletes that are graduating. They're 21, 22, and they want to get into tech, let's say. And what advice do you have? Where should they start as far as entry level jobs, or what should they be thinking about? How should they look at technology?
Yeah. So there's I'll try to like say this without saying too many words, but it can be a little bit overwhelming. But let's see. So we can like edit this out later. So this is like kind of a problem that our industry is faced with, right? It's like hard to get in, and I don't want to like talk about my IT course and be like, buy my course, like, 'cause that's like not what I'm trying to do. But
you should talk about it.
Okay,
that's
I'll
perfectly
talk about
fine.
it.
You should talk about it. Yeah.
Okay. If you end up buying my course, like, don't buy it from me. Use Ernie's link. I'm sure you're gonna put a link somewhere, right? But so I made a course for this because it's kind of overwhelming a little bit.
There we go.
Traditionally, what people would do is they'd be like, okay, I'm going to go out and get like CompTIA A+, which is a really popular certification in our field. They'd be like, all right, let me get CompTIA A+, and then I'll trade this for a job. But like I kind of talked about earlier, that sometimes works, but it doesn't always work. It comes down to like having skill and then conveying the skill, and then you might be able to get some skill with CompTIA A+, but it doesn't really teach you how to convey your skill properly, if that makes sense. So I kind of made I'm saying this as a third person, not as like Josh trying to make money, but I made this course to expedite people's journey into IT, because there's a lot that you can possibly learn, but in order to get a job, you need to at least learn this much, essentially. So in my course, I kind of introduce you to things that are like really commonly used in IT, especially for entry-level positions. So you can kind of take notes of what I'm talking about now, but really basics of networking, like IPv4 addressing, you should know this. Some basics of ticketing systems, because everywhere uses ticketing systems. I even use ticketing system for my job. Like it's how we track
Okay.
our work essentially. So it's good to know ticketing system. It's good to know Active Directory. This is everywhere uses this. Like all help desk probably is going to have some exposure to this. And I have a free, there's free videos on YouTube. I have a free video about Active Directory. So kind of learn those things, at least intro to networking, ticketing systems, Active Directory. And then I would definitely do like a couple of projects around those things. So I have not only me, but like, the course, teaches you how to do all this, but it's for free too on the internet. So I would make sure your resume is squared away, which there's a lot of videos on YouTube for free for this. And in the course too, obviously,
Hmm.
I would make a portfolio and then put that on your resume and put your projects that you did for free on YouTube. And then kind of once you have this baseline skill set, you have your resume, you have your portfolio, then you want to practice interviewing for help desk roles. I have a lot of practice interview questions. Some of them are on YouTube. The course has like 50, and you just want to practice interviewing, right? So you can not only memorizing like technical answers, not necessarily that, but it's more so of being able to convey like what you want to say properly in a succinct manner without saying and like too many times, and doing it
Yeah.
short, right? And you practice interviewing by yourself, like in your room alone or whatever the case may be. And then when it comes time to like interview for real, then your brain is kind of used to coming up with answers and practicing answering stuff that you don't necessarily know the answer to, but you're able to talk with the interview anyway about what they're asking. And once you kind of have all of that stuff, this is kind of like the recipe for like having skill and then being able to portray the skill. And then you just essentially go out and apply to a lot of entry-level jobs on like ZipRecruiter, Indeed,
Hmm.
LinkedIn. And then you just don't be too picky for the first job you get, like help desk, support technician. Just try to get a job as soon as you can.
Yeah.
And then you start getting experience. And you probably notice this, like as you start working, you get a sense for like what you like and what you don't like. And then the stuff you like, just go hard on that, like maybe get more certifications and just learn that more, and then just keep doing the same process over and over again until you make as much money as you feel like making, I suppose. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Yes, man. So Josh is a awesome instructor. So I took his course in January, mid-January, and it took me about 5 weeks from the start of the course content to actually land my first IT job. Um, and that was super quick, super awesome, very cost effective. It's doesn't cost much to get started, which is so amazing, and it's so helpful for people to, be able to change their career very quickly and change their financial status and get into tech with the work that you are doing and Course Careers is doing. So thank you so much. But yeah, I just want to let everybody know I did it. And I had a computer science minor, but I never did anything with it from UT. I played basketball for 7 years, and now I'm just getting into tech. And I've always had a love for technology and understanding, trying to figure out what's going on. It's so vast and so interesting. So if you want to get into tech, either, there's different courses that they have, but if you're trying to do IT, this is the way to go. And I would do it very quickly. It's easy to learn from him. Everything is structured out. And Josh, one thing that was super amazing that I don't think
Mhm.
other courses really have, the price point, of course, but the ability to get into Discord and actually talk to you and have questions
Oh yeah.
answered by you. That is what blew my mind away, because I'm the type of person that's like, I have a question and I want the instructor's answer. I don't want 20 people's answer sometime, because it might be different. I'm like,
Yeah.
so I messaged you plenty of times, and guys, every time he answered me, and I was like blown away. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. And like, yeah, this is one of the best courses that I've paid for and actually got, you know, a return on it, getting a job. And yeah, it just makes sense. So there's the clip on the $50 off, link I have, or my coupon code. Use that. Even check it out. You have like a free introductory course, right? When you go to Course Careers, You can check it out
Oh
for
yeah.
free before paying. But hey, if you want to do it quickly. Do it with Course Careers and get Josh's course. And I don't know if we can talk about it, Josh, but get
Uh-huh.
people hyped because you've got another one coming down the pipeline, right? You got another one. Can you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah. So I'm making a similar course to the IT one, but it's for cybersecurity. It's like specialized for cybersecurity, and I
Sweet.
made this course for the same reason because people they have a hard time, getting skill, conveying skill. Everyone can get skill, for free tutorials, but it's hard to convey it, like especially cybersecurity, because it's kind of like a subset of IT. So it kind of not requires experience, but you know, employers like want to see that. So I figured I would put something together to like bridge that gap, because there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of empty jobs. Empty jobs. There's a lot of job openings in cybersecurity, but we're having, as a country or society, I don't know, we're having a hard time uh, bridging that gap.
Yeah.
I could talk about this a
Yeah.
lot, but that's what the course is for, and it's like really hands-on. We deal with like real live attacks from the internet, and like everything's in the cloud. We build a cloud environment that attracts malicious bots and hackers, and we kind of monitor it and make alerts in it. It should be very cool. So yeah, that's coming up.
Wow. And just a question like I know every like role's name means something different for every company, but what type of roles would you think people will be able to get with your cybersecurity course? What can they look forward to?
Yeah, so it's designed to be called a SOC analyst, like security operations center analyst, or
Mm-hmm.
cybersecurity analyst, or information security analyst. But they can
Okay.
also, because the course is delivered in the cloud, it's like super heavy Azure. They can also work as like a cloud support engineer, Azure support engineer, application support engineer, like that type of role as well. So
Cool. Okay. Let's talk about some cool
yeah.
stuff, some fun stuff. So yeah, Josh is a very successful YouTuber, and has lived a nomad lifestyle. But let's talk about the nomadic lifestyle. Yeah, like what pros and cons do you have for that lifestyle, and what do you like about it? Like, what has been your journey being able to live in different places, internationally, and also still work and make a living, and but also have fun and I guess live your life outside of the states.
Yeah, so it's been really nice. I have a strange personality where I kind of can't do the same thing for extended period of time. So it's been really nice for me. The pros, it's like quite fresh. So oh, by the way, I don't know if homeless is the right word, but
Hmm.
we can feel free to cut this out, right, if you want. But so what month is it? March. So in
Hmm.
February 2022, actually I started. I don't know. You probably didn't know this, but I started living in my car from February in 22, and I lived in my car for like 5 or 6 months, some long time like this.
Really?
Just because, yeah, I had like a bad like mental breakdown in like 2020 2021, and I was trying
Hmm.
to like recover from that in
Hmm.
2022. So I was like, remove all my responsibility. I like got rid of my house and just like sold everything, and I live in my car for like 5 or 6 months. And this is kind of leading into the nomad thing. I really liked that because I could have my office can be like anywhere essentially, and I
Hmm.
would like drive to the beach a lot, or drive to somewhere in nature and just work there. And I
Yeah.
really got used to being like mobile and like having a lot of autonomy. So I kind of started thinking like, wait a second, like I don't even need to be here. I can like go somewhere else, right? So I kind of like got everything ready, and then I just went I just went to Thailand, and then when I went to Thailand, I realized like, wow, everything is like incredibly inexpensive here, and it's
Yeah.
just like super super cheap. And so I lived in, I don't know if I can say live, but I lived in Thailand for like a month, and I lived in Japan for 3 months, and then I kind of moved around a bit, and I just came back, and like right now I'm in Redmond, Washington, but I'm just like renting this apartment for was it like 3 months or something, and there's like nothing in here, right? It's my nomad life.
Hmm. Cool.
So the pros, like, I don't know if it's resonate with everybody, but it's just like a lot of, for me, autonomy is like really important. I can just like go wherever I want and do whatever I want. The thing, I guess the cons, when you're abroad and your job is like back here, everyone's like meeting is like 2, 3, 4 in the morning. That tends to suck quite a bit.
Okay.
But other than that, I don't really have any cons really. Just a lot of environment, a lot of new experience, a lot of food, and then I can just go anywhere. It's been really, really nice for me, like that nomad lifestyle. So
Oh, thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that with us.
mm,
So do you think for mental health is one of the things that I do like to talk about with athletes here and just in general
mm.
people. Do you think that change of like having the autonomy, having the flexibility, change of environment really helped you maybe heal or continue in life or make maybe how do I say this? Be happier, right? After living in your car and finding the nomad life, like how did that help you when you went overseas?
Yeah. So I think I kind of have a theory about this. When this might not be the same for everyone, but for me, like when my autonomy is reduced, like when I'm some kind of external factor is like forcing me to, go to work and stay in the office doing something for, 10 or 9 hours or whatever, like having some other entity controlling like where I am and what I'm doing, like really like hurts my mental health like quite a bit. Um,
Yeah.
so I kind of noticed once I didn't have that anymore, I could recover, I guess, and be
Mhm.
much
Mhm.
happier. And like the change of environment, like an extreme example of this is like, if you go to prison and you like get in trouble, you get put in solitary confinement essentially, and
Yep.
it's just like a room, right? And there's nothing in there, and people like tend to go crazy in there because I don't know if their environment is like lacking of stimulus, and it's the same, right? And I think
Mhm.
that may play a role in poor mental health in the real world. Like if you're doing the same stuff like too much in the same environment
Yeah.
too much, you might not notice it, but I suspect it's not that healthy for your brain or mental health. And I kind of found out
Yeah.
when I could change my environment a lot and have a lot of variety, I tend to feel like much better. So I can't go back to like the office. I probably could survive, but I just don't like doing it that much, and it's way better to just be able to go anywhere and like do anything. That's just kind of how I feel now.
Cool. I definitely resonate with you. Like I don't I like to have autonomy. I like to be able to do
Mhm.
my work and remotely and be able to travel or be in Chicago so I can still work and visit my grandma, just different things or even travel. So playing sports,
Mhm.
basketball for 7 years, every year I was in some different place. And so uh I think I like that. It just worked out to where I didn't get contracts over and over in certain countries, but I loved going to different countries. And so that
Yeah.
definitely resonates with me. Because even within the last year or two, I've been trying to figure out like how do I get that life that I had in basketball back to where I was traveling. And
Mm.
I can still I don't have to run, I don't have to go to practice, but I can I can make some good money but still be in different countries. So I think that's going to resonate
Yeah.
actually with a lot of people. So thanks for sharing for sure.
No problem. And I will say, it's I want to say two things. So the higher your
Hmm.
skill is, and I guess for lack of better description, the better you are, the more you can get away with. So if you have some like semi in demand skills, even if the job was not originally remote, it's possible
Hmm.
they'll make the job remote for you. Also, it is possible to get a remote job like right off the bat. Like a large number of course careers, IT graduates, their first job is a remote job. Um, and the last thing I want to say is, say that you get a job making, I don't know, like 40K, oh sorry, 40K or 45K or whatever the case may be for your first job. If
Hmm.
you like go to Thailand, it's like your salary like 4x, or like Philippines, or even maybe like some parts of Mexico also. It's like your salary like explode because in Thailand, for example, you can can buy like a full on pad thai for like $1.40 when in Seattle it's like
Wow.
$20 right after tax.
Yeah.
And I lived in like a, yeah, it's really, when I realized that, I'm like, oh, I'm actually rich out here actually, because
Yeah.
the food is like so, it's so, I feel bad saying that, but it's like so affordable, I guess, to the US dollar. And I was staying in like I don't know if I can call it high rise, but it's like a nice condo on like 15th floor. It was like $30 per day for rent or something. In Seattle, that's definitely, it's going to be like $300 per day probably for Airbnb. So it's like super cheap, not inside the US. I'm kind of like going off topic, but that's just, I just wanted to like
That's
throw that out there, right?
no, that's absolutely on topic. And I think these are just this is a great point to make so that people can think about what type of life they want and
Mhm.
be able to curate it, right? You can curate it that way with IT, getting into tech and being remote and going to live or traveling in countries where your dollar will last, right? So those are things to think for young people that are graduating um, college and you want to travel. This is the way to do it, right? This is a way to do it and a way to think about it. And it doesn't have to be long term, it can be temporary. You can go and come back home. You can really just I love the idea of working remote in tech and being able to make really good money and continue to step up the ladder, add skills, um, and really
Yeah.
create the life that you want. And so I have a saying, Josh, I want to help athletes, professional athletes, and people build a triple double life. So, if anybody knows about basketball, the best stat line you can get is a triple double. It's having double digit stats in three categories. For example, I've got
Oh,
20 points, I've got 11 rebounds, and then I had 10 assists. That's a triple
oh.
double for basketball. A good stat line, right? It's hard to get. And so if you can build a triple double life, for me it's like financial literacy, or financial freedom, time, and then just being very happy, creating your life to be very happy, live where you want to live, buy what you want to buy, and be able to support yourself and your family. So I want people to create their triple double life with tech, especially.
Mm,
Yep.
that's well said.
Let's see.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
question. We're gonna get to some learning style. How would you describe your learning style? Like, how do you best learn or
Uh,
teach yourself?
Yeah, it depends on what I'm doing, but I will say like repetition is really key. Okay, I can talk about this a lot. This is how I essentially make a lot of 100K skills. I like to call it 100K skill. Like, if I
Perfect.
wanted to, I could go make 100K doing cybersecurity. I could make over 100K doing coding. I could make over 100K doing like sysadmin, something. So the way I develop these kind of skills is just like thoughtful repetition. So, for instance, I'm just going to use my course as an example. I feel bad doing this because it sounds like, oh, buy my course, but I'm not doing that. So, in my course, I kind of talk about, I harp on repeating the labs more than once. I recommend
Yes.
doing them until you can just do it off the top of your head. So, in the course, I have some labs where we go through some steps and we like set up Active Directory or set up the ticketing system or something. And the way I develop 100K skills, as I like to call it, is just find like a good lab or like something good to do. I guess it's useful in tech, and
Hmm.
just do that thing a lot. So in the case of our the course, set up Active Directory, like configure the users, configure the environment, like over and over and over again. Say you do that, like just for example, like 10 times. You have
Hmm.
now like every time you like do that, your, I guess your knowledge like balloon kind of gets a little bit bigger. And
Hmm.
then like after you do it 10 times, it becomes like really easy to add stuff on top of it. And you have like a really solid intuition and understanding of that thing, like whatever that thing is that you're doing. And when you have that, it's really, really easy to like regurgitate and talk about that in the interview. Um, yeah. So for me, well, I guess I don't need to like talk about the specific skills that I learned, but like, coding is one of them. And,
Hmm.
you can, for example, if you look up a job that you want to do on Indeed, maybe you want to be a security analyst or something, and it says, you have to learn how to use a SIM or a Sentinel. These are like arbitrary things, right, that you can learn. Then you could like go out and like practice that thing like 100 times for an extreme example, and then you have like a really strong intuition of it, and it can become one of your 100K skills, like when you get a job in stuff. So that's how I do it. Just a lot of thoughtful repetition builds intuition, and that turns into money later on, right?
Awesome. Okay, cool.
But I will
Yeah,
say,
go
like,
ahead. Go ahead.
oh, sorry. I I'll try not to like talk too much, but you want to pick something that's like good. Like if I go out and I decide I want to build like a dirt castle, like a sand castle 100 times, like I'll be good at building a sand castle, but it's like not good for tech, right? So just like pick something that makes sense and practice that like a lot of times, and that's how it works. And that's what I teach in my course, and that's what Ernie did. That's what a lot of people do, and then it works, right? Because they have an interview and they interview well, then they get a job, and then career develops and moves forwards.
Yeah. And I also want to add, I meant to add it earlier. We were talking about the course too and certifications. I don't have a certification, my A+ yet, and I still was able to get a job. And so I think that is largely in part from your course, being able to show my projects on GitHub, curate a resume, right, correctly, fix my LinkedIn correctly, and then also the behavioral questions, the technical questions that you prepare us for the interviews. I was able to land a job. I work on site. I want remote, but I work on site. And I took Josh's advice is to not be picky, but to just get in, get a job, get working, and get some experience, and then just kind of build my skills from there. So I work at an MSP here in Austin, and it's pretty cool. I'm learning a lot. A lot of different issues come through the tickets, and yeah, I'm being stretched right now. So super excited for his next course in cybersecurity. Can't wait to get into that. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know, like, yes, get an A+ if you can. But it's not the end of the world if you can't. You can still get a position. And really quick,
For sure.
Josh, what other jobs have people got from your course? Because I know some of your interviews on YouTube, there's IT help desk, but some people have gotten some different types of jobs as well in the network or even SOC. Can you talk a
Yeah.
little bit about those?
Yeah. So some people have gotten like pretty crazy jobs. One person got a job, pays like, God, it was like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. It was like upwards of 90K.
Okay.
And his job is what's the title? It's really similar to like cloud support engineering. I think it's like a software support engineer. Yes, he's supporting some kind of like software. For him to get that job, he went through course careers, but he also went through like another coding boot camp. That's the thing we were talking about, supplementing coding. So that boot camp he went through is like a good boot camp, but it was like it's like 10K or some crazy price like this. But the lucky thing is we can like learn coding for free, right? Essentially, some people just opt to go through boot camp because it's kind of nice to have an instructor that you can like talk to face to face. But that guy is a cloud support engineer, makes like 90K. Another person got a job as a SOC analyst, like a security operations center in cybersecurity. He lives in Arkansas, and his pay was like 50K, which is like pretty good for Arkansas, actually.
Yeah.
He did like, he did course careers too, but he did some other studying outside. For people who got like non-help desk stuff from just course careers, like someone had a job as a NOC technician. That's like a network operations center. Some other people got jobs at MSPs as well. And then there's some other jobs, but I kind of attribute those to help desk. They have some like other title, but they're essentially help desk. You can do more than help desk, but it just comes down to getting skill, conveying skill. If you want to do beyond help desk, just get skill and convey skill beyond help desk. But that takes time as well.
For sure. Really quick, for people that don't know what an MSP is, can you explain what type of company that would be, an MSP?
Yeah, and then feel free to correct me if I say this wrong because you actually work at one. But for me in my head, instead of a company having their own help desk, the MSP, the managed services provider, exists, and then they may provide help desk services to that company who doesn't have a help desk. So it's kind of like yeah, that's essentially in my head what it is. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
basically yeah. At my MSP, we have I don't know how many companies we support. We're basically their private
Yeah.
IT for their company. But we've almost maybe probably 158 to 80 different clients, which is our businesses that use all different tools, and we are their lifeline, I guess, their IT support. So yeah, I think the good thing about maybe working with the MSP is that you will probably touch a lot of different technologies because
Oh
or
yeah.
applications because the all the different businesses are in different sectors and they use a lot of different applications and platforms, and so we try to help troubleshoot those platforms whenever they have issues with those to keep them able to run their business and do what they need to do.
It's actually really good for you. I didn't think about that. You probably get exposure to a lot of stuff because all the customers in their crazy environment, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm learning very fast. So this week will be my fourth week in role, and
Mm.
yeah, I've had to do a lot of things: Active Directory, password resets, working
Mm.
in trying to fix Outlook Outlook issues, TPM issues,
Oh
and
yeah.
working in Google Admin and 365 Admin. Lots of things, random things I would have never like thought would happen, but it's pretty cool. All right, this
Mm.
last part, Josh. So we want to talk about the flight assessment, which is just a behavioral type of personality questionnaire that I like to give people that I coach and work with. It helps me understand how to communicate with people and understand their preferences of interacting with others and getting tasks done. Now, what I want Josh to do is I just sprung it on him, so we're gonna see what he comes up with. But I'm gonna talk about each category. There's four categories that measure certain things, and he's gonna try and give us some different roles or industries even for this type of person. So let me see if I can share my screen here.
Sure.
Let's see. Is it? Uh, how, do how did that pop up? Right?
That's funny.
Oh,
Oh, I did
technology.
something. Oh, never mind. You're in the show. This platform is so interesting. I should like consider using this in the future.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You have controls on the and banners on the screen.
Does
So
it
I
cost
really like
money?
it. Let's see. I pay $25 a month and don't even use it as much as I should, but like $25 a month. Um, and you can also do live streaming. It'll connect to like Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube,
Oh, nice.
but it's pretty legit. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Let me know if you can see that.
Yeah, yeah, I can see. I can see it.
Small.
Yeah, I made my thing big.
But cool,
Cool.
cool, cool. Okay, so really quick, the first category. So guys, this is kind of built off of the DISC assessment. This is the flight assessment by Eric Thomas, and I'm a certified coach. But the first group I want to talk about is the flight attendant personality. So the flight attendant, Josh, is going to love working with other people. This is the person that's extroverted, loves to converse, loves to ask questions, and their main goal is to make sure that the experience for everybody in the group is like wonderful. So if you think about the flight attendant when you are actually traveling, they're the first person you see
Mhm.
talking to you, making sure you find your seat, making sure your bag is put in a secure place. So this is more of an extroverted person, and they are really about the experience for the group or an individual. Can Are there any jobs or roles or industries in tech that this type of extroverted person may lean towards that you can think of?
Yeah, yeah. So there's a bit of overlap in these, but the first thing that
Sure.
comes to mind, like someone who's like super hard extrovert, is probably tech sales, to be honest. You see all these
Yeah.
memes on TikTok. Like I have like what was it? My TikTok algorithm tends to like show me tech things, So there'll be like these
Mhm.
memes where it's like, oh, you come to like the sales floor for the first time. There's like a party going on in there or something like this. So like tech sales is the first thing that comes to mind for like hard introverts. The other positions you might look into is maybe like a team lead or tech lead for whatever the team you're on. If you're on a help desk or something,
Mhm.
maybe that would be like a team lead where you might organize training for the rest of the people in your group, like organize and deliver it. Like if there's a problem that's really difficult, you might figure it out and then hold a meeting and kind of teach everyone how to do it, like a tech lead. And you don't even have to be like the tech leader, right? You could just get hired and then learn how to do something and then kind of take that role upon yourself and then teach other
Mhm.
people and help elevate your team. The other thing that kind of comes to mind would be like a trainer, but that's kind of almost the same thing that I just described. But yeah, like tech
Yeah.
lead, tech sales, some kind of trainer, something like this, like those hard extrovert positions. Like that's what comes to mind.
Perfect. That's awesome. That's great. Okay. Okay, so the next one is going to be your grounds crew. Okay, so this part of the assessment would measure someone's preferred pace of their environment. So for me, I'm a very high grounds crew. So that if you're higher in this category, it means you are more methodical. You love less change in your day to day. You kind of move slower, but you are able to execute very at a high level because you take your time with things. Very supportive person, and sometimes this is the person that is called the sticky glue to a team. They love a team atmosphere, but they do kind of reside on the more introverted side behind the scenes, but they love to be work on the team. Um, so yeah, this is the grounds crew person. Uh, Josh, what do you think? What do
So,
you think?
so
What kind of roles or
in my
industry?
yeah, in my head, usually when people start out in IT, like usually their position will be like what is it, grounds crew position, like some kind of help desk or some kind of support role starting out.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I will say, if you want to keep that kind of like slow pace, like not have too many changes thrown at you, like at a high pace, um, I might
Hmm.
shoot for like anything in government, whether that's local, state, like maybe working at like a local college or something like that. You'll probably like that a lot. um, any kind of local government, like the county or the city that you work in, usually they have like jobs posted, or even federal government as well. Like any government is going to be kind of slow paced, and you're going to likely want to move faster than where you work. So if you're that type of person, like anything local government, anything support related, I would avoid working. Well, you don't have to do this, but this is, Josh said this. You might want to avoid working at like an actual tech company, because support at tech companies tends to be like really high paced. So if you're like a support engineer at Microsoft, you'll probably get a
Hmm.
lot of money, but you'll probably be worked kind of hard, even more so at like Amazon or any like tech company. So you can shoot for working like entry level like IT stuff at like non tech companies, like maybe like Starbucks or you know some other I don't know, I
Mm,
can't think, Barnes and Noble or something, I don't know, like a random company, right? I don't know how your
okay.
environment is yours like pretty high paced, because you're like a um, tech
Yeah,
company, right, like
so
at the MSP?
I could. Yeah, exactly. It's pretty high pace. The throughout the day, the tickets come in and it's up and down. Like sometimes the mornings are like fire. Sometimes we have like 30 minutes or an hour where it's quiet or the phones are ringing. But it's up and down. And so me being a very high grounds crew, I like I like to know how the day is usually going to be. I like to have a slower pace. I like to take time with my project. So this is out of my comfort zone, but I can still
Mm,
do it. And so, what with the flight assessment, you kind of want to know what your personality type is as far as what you're dominant in, and find jobs where you are able to not have to adapt so much. But yeah, if that's hopefully
mm,
that makes sense. But yes, the tickets, what gets me is that the tickets are different, of course, every time. There's a different question, something I haven't done. And I think
mm.
in IT help desk, you're always kind of gonna have those things where you just don't know. Now let's just
Yeah,
troubleshoot. And
yeah,
I've
yeah.
learned that I have to be okay with that and asking for help. I'm the type of person where I like to know, be very successful, and I like to know what to do. And when I don't
Mm,
know what to do, I feel out of control. But it's just a learning
yeah.
curve and something to know, something to just have a good awareness of, you know?
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, you became kind of quiet suddenly. I don't know if it's me or like your.
Okay, yeah, it does sound different. 1 second, let's see if my headphones are still. 1 second.
Slightly quieter, but no, no problem.
Yeah, I heard that change. Let's see. How does this sound?
Oh yeah, that's very clear and loud.
Better. Good, 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 good. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, I don't
I
know what
guess
happened.
wrapping up for. Oh yeah, I don't know.
Sorry.
But for
Um,
yeah, for ground screw. No, no, it's okay. It's okay. Oh, it's kind of lagging a little bit. Sorry.
yeah, I think we're
It
good.
might be me. Okay. Okay. Am I
Is my
like
camera still
glitching out
good?
a lot? It's like
No, you're pretty good. You're good.
it's yeah. Yours is glitching out a little bit. It's like kind of like you know, kind of
Hmm.
s- slow, but maybe it's okay. Maybe your sound is okay. Oh, it's okay now. It became good.
Okay. Technical difficulties all the time. It's all good. All
Yeah.
right.
Thank God. Thank God for editing.
Did you? Yes, for sure. Did you have anything to add to Grounds Crew?
No, pretty much just if you care, just if you're really hard ground crew, maybe try to find something like local government or at least like a non tech company, and then support. Of course, it will probably match your personality somewhat anyway.
Somewhat. Perfect. Okay, we got two more. We'll get through these. This is one of
Yeah.
mine too. Um, Air traffic controller. So for everybody, just to understand, like the question is, Josh, when do you see any air traffic controllers when you travel? Do you see them?
Not usually unless it's on purpose. I'm trying to like look for them.
Yeah. So the air traffic controller is going to be those people in the towers, and doing they're they're the reason why we don't crash into any other planes in the sky. So they are more introverted. These are the most introverted personality type. They like to be behind the scenes. This person is very systematic and rule driven, process driven. If you're very high in this air traffic controller category, you really feel like rules are law, rules are king, um, and they like to follow sets of rules or protocols. Um,
Mm,
what else could I say about this type of person? They love details. They love to ask why. It helps them understand why they're doing something, and it helps them remember why it's important. So somebody that's very detailed, systematic. What type of roles do you think
yeah.
are out there for them in tech?
Sure. So probably anything with coding, for sure, like development or software engineer, because there's a lot of if you're like a perfectionist, there's a lot of optimization that can be done with coding. And if you are good at coding, and you're not necessarily a software engineer, but if you have coding skill that's being utilized at work, you can tend to get away with a lot, and you can be left alone a lot. It depends on where you
Hmm.
work, but Coding's one. Probably almost anything in cybersecurity, because you have to pay special attention to detail, and if you're doing defensive security, you can't really mess up. People do all the time, but attackers, people attacking your network, they only have to like be right one time, right? And you have to like really be on top of defending it, and like there's all this compliance and stuff around cybersecurity. So that's probably a good one if you like rules and structure. Yeah, there's some subsets of cyber, subsets of development, but coding and cybersecurity probably pretty good for this type of person.
Perfect. That's awesome. Okay, last one. The last one. This is the pilot. This person is very decisive. This category measures one's preference to one's preferred approach to solving problems and just kind of getting tasks done and making decisions. So the pilot is very task oriented first, then people. So if you think about the actual pilot, you kind of don't really see the pilot or interact with them until like they come on and they go to their the wherever whatever the cockpit is, if that's the name of it. So they're very task driven. They want to land the plane, they want to get the plane from A to B, and then they might come on the intercom and tell jokes or whatever they say. This is a natural leader, right? The pilot is a natural leader. They are extroverted as well. They are perfectly fine being vocal, sharing their ideas, but this person likes to can work alone, and they like to make decisions very fast. So these are the leader types. They're okay with being in the front, very opposite of the air traffic controller. So for the pilot, what roles do you think would be best for the pilot personality?
Yep, probably program manager or project manager. These are kind of two different things. It depends on like the organization, but a lot of the time with program manager, you have like some responsibility to do something, but you don't have authority really to make people do it. So you have to have some kind of good people skill, and it helps to be extroverted and it helps to be able to build rapport and deal with people, because you got to, as a program manager, especially in big tech, there's a lot of competing priorities, and you have to convince people to do what you want them to do to further like whatever your initiative is. And project manager as well, their performance is really heavily weighted on whether or not certain tasks get done in the project, because there's sometimes like you can't proceed with the project until like XYZ is done. So they really want those things to be done. So they need to like deal with people and get them to do those things. And it can be pretty hard to do. I've done this as an introvert, and it's quite hard. I didn't like it, but it helped me grow as a person, I guess. Like any kind of manager, program manager, project manager, and early in your career, you can take this upon yourself and just act as a help desk lead without actually being the lead. So say you get comfortable in your role, you can kind of take it upon yourself to look at your ticket queue metrics and then try to help improve things, improve your team stats, something like this. But yeah, any kind of manager, team lead, something like this, I think would be really good for the pilot role.
Perfect. That's so awesome. Thanks for playing along with me and giving us some things to think about. How it, I guess, versus how somebody their preferred behavioral style or personality. Which one do you think you are?
Let me look at what is the difference? Air traffic.
Let me see.
Maybe the, oh God. Originally, for sure, in early career, I'm ground crew for sure. I am a pilot for my own business. I don't mind doing it for my thing, but I don't want to be a pilot for some like company, right? That's just my thing. So I don't even know. I don't know what I am today. Probably like, probably like air traffic control mixed with pilot. For my YouTube thing, but I don't know. What do you have a sense of what I am? I don't know.
We did take the, I didn't look at it very deeply, but Josh did take it today, the assessment. And I think I remember you were like mid-level, very, very balanced and equal in air traffic controller and pilot, but also in both of those categories, you were able to adapt up and be more aggressive in those to about like maybe a 80, if that makes sense. So the kind of number score goes from 70 to or 0 to 99. And the higher you are, the more dominant you are in that. So like, yes, like you said, for your business and YouTube, you're able to adapt higher and make your decisions and make solve problems and things like that. And then for air traffic controller, you are able to be more systematic and more analytical when you need to be.
Yeah,
So
I think that. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say definitely want to go over those with you. I think you'll really find it interesting. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say that probably is a result of doing like I worked in so many industries and like so many jobs. I think those kind of like force my stats to average out. I think that's just my theory, but I don't know.
No, yeah, that can definitely happen. But yeah, like this was an amazing podcast. Thanks so much for being a guest on Stats to Assets podcast and YouTube show. Are there any closing remarks that you would like to say about your YouTube or about your courses or whatever you have for the audience?
Yeah, I just want to say to anyone watching, I have this video on my channel called Astronaut Theory where I talk about, I have this theory that everyone's physiologically capable of being an astronaut. Like, I don't know if that's true or not, but the point I was trying to make is all of these kind of jobs that you see in society, like software engineer, cybersecurity specialist, dentist, all of those things are, if you have interest in opportunity, you can do like any of those things, right? And IT, if you're watching this and you have the internet, you definitely have the capability to do probably like almost anything in IT, right? It just comes down to interest and discipline and actually taking the steps to like study like, all of those things. So if you don't want to get into IT, like that's okay. And like if you don't buy the course, like that's okay. But I don't want anyone watching this to think that they're not smart enough to do IT, because absolutely you are definitely smart enough to do IT and much more things beyond IT, right? So just if you wanted to get into IT, I don't feel comfortable like shilling my course, but the reason I made it was to expedite people's career changes. So if you want to get into IT, like use Ernie's link and buy the Course Careers course and do everything I say in that course. And if you get stuck, just like DM me on Discord, right? And we'll work through it. But yeah, just you're capable of doing pretty much like whatever you want to do in this world, as long as you have like interest in opportunity. So I just want to say that in closings.
Perfect. Awesome. Yes, you guys, if you want to get into IT and start your next career, use Course Careers. The link will be in the bio, or use my coupon Stats to Assets 50 and start right now. Let's go. Josh, you've been amazing. Thanks for being on the show. Stay in the portal, but I'm going to end this call. And for my Stats to Assets folks, I'll see you when I see you. Peace.
Cool. Bye, everybody.